Alright, so next part of our warm-up would be A-skips, which is basically like a high knee, but with less aggression to the ground. And then we're going to do 2 sets of that for 30 seconds each, and 30 seconds rest in between those sets. So here we go. So remember to drive your knee high up into your chest, get a good bounce, and keep a strong rhythm. About 10 more seconds for set number 1. And we're good. So that was set 1 of the A-skips. Now we're gonna rest for 30 seconds. So we keep our heart rate up, but we're not overworking ourselves before we start to get into the bulk of our true work, which would be the meat of the exercises. So remember, breathe in deep through your nose and out through your mouth. And rest is over, so we're ready for set number 2. And we begin. So the key here is not to be fast or overexert yourself, but have a strong rhythm and keep yourself nice and smooth. About 5 more seconds. And we're good. Hey guys, my name is Martinez, and today I'm going to be showing you guys just a basic exercise training regimen that you could do at home or anywhere that you have space. In times like this, it's hard to get into a gym, so all it's going to consist of is a warm-up, a general warm-up just to get your body ready and pumped for the exercise, a specific warm-up to get your body ready for all of the exercise that you're gonna do, and the program is gonna consist of strength and power, core, balance and stability, cardiovascular, speed, agility, and then a cool down at the end. So the basic things we have here that are gonna help us perform our workouts are a step stool, a chair, a watch to time your exercises and rest periods, and a phone to keep track of what exercises you're doing. And so first off, we're gonna start with our warm-up. And our first warm-up would be a light jog for 1 minute. And so you could either time it on your phone or on your watch. And so here we go, we're about to begin. But since we don't have an open area, like where you could see I'm in my own yard, you could do jog in place, which is the same benefits. So, and here we go. And it's gonna be for a minute. So the goal here is to get your heart rate up and your body warm and your joints moving and lubricated so you could be ready to perform all the exercises that we're about to do. So we're about 30 seconds in. All you want to do is control your breathing, control your heart rate, stay light on your feet, run in the balls of your toes. About 10 more seconds. And we're good. The last of our general warm-ups is going to be a leg swing, which is the rotation of your hips inward and outward and opening up, well, obviously your hips, your glutes, and your lower back. And for this, we use a chair to help stabilize ourselves while we're standing on the opposite leg of which we're not swinging. And so here we go, and we're going to begin. It's going to be 2 sets of 20 each leg. And now we're going to switch legs and begin. And that would be it for our general warm-up. Now we're going to move on to a proper warm-up that's going to be helpful in which the movements we're about to do for our exercises. But for now, we take a rest, about 90 seconds, catch our breath, let our body relax a little bit, and we'll get into the dynamic routine for the next warm-up. Okay, now for our specified warm-ups, we're going to get into the joints that are going to be working during the actual exercises. So our first one that we're going to do is a set of arm rotations. So we're going to have our arms lateral to our body, wingspan apart. We're going to have them shoulder width high, and all we're going to do is small, slow rotations to the front and then small rotations to the back. And we're going to do 10 to the front and 10 to the back. All right. And we're going to begin with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pause, and then we're going to reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that is our set. Then we rest for about 30 seconds, and then we're going to move on to our next specified warm-up. So for our next specified warm-up, we're going to do a trunk rotation. So you want your feet about shoulder width apart, flat on the ground. You want everything in a straight line up and down. And all we're going to do is keep our hands to the center of us, and we're just going to rotate the top of our body back and forth. And we're going to do that for 20 reps, so it'd be 10 this way and 10 that way, but in an ongoing motion. So we're ready to begin. So all we're doing is straight up and just rotate the trunk of your body. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and keep going. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And so what that's doing is working your obliques and all the muscles that help in the rotation of your body, like your back, your core muscles, and even your chest. So everything is, you want it loosened up. So in any rotation movement that we do, we're ready for it, and we're ready to take the impact of that exercise. So next we're going to perform a box squat, which would be the last of our specified warm-ups. So all box squat is just working on proper form of how to do an actual squat. So what you want to do is, we're using a chair instead of a box, but this is what we have at our home. So you want your feet shoulder width apart, you want your hips underneath you, and you want everything, your core and your glutes tight and squeezed. So when you go down to squat, you drop your glutes back and down, and once you touch the chair, you're coming back up. And we're going to do a set of 10 of that. So let's begin. So you drop down, touch the chair, and back up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that was the end of our warm-up, so it gets us ready for exercise. We're gonna rest for about 90 seconds, and then we're gonna hop into it. Okay, now we're gonna get into our main movements of this exercise program, and we're gonna begin with strength and power exercises. And the exercises that we're gonna perform are going to be push-ups, air squats, air lateral raises, forward lunges, chair dips, and step-ups. And each one of those, we're going to perform 3 sets of 10 with 90 seconds rest in between each set. So our first one, we're going to start off with push-ups. And to perform a basic push-up, we're going to get on any flat surface on the floor, get down, have our hands shoulder width apart, legs back, and all we're going to do is bend at the elbows and drop your body all the way. Your chest hits the floor and come back up. And that's how you perform a push-up. If you can't do that and you want to modify it, you could still have your hands shoulder width apart, palms flat on the ground, have your knees underneath you, and then you just perform that same up and down movement with your elbows. And that's how you would modify it if you can't perform a regular push-up. But for us, we're going to perform regular push-ups. We're going to do 3 sets of 10. So here is the first set. Shoulder width apart with the arms, hands flat on the ground, on your toes, and then we begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And remember to breathe through each part of the exercise. And once you finish, you gather yourself, you can stand up, sit down, catch your breath. We're going to rest for 90 seconds, and then we're going to perform set number 2. I'll probably rest for like 30 seconds. So while you're resting, you could stand up, you could sit down, but you want to stay, one, hydrated and keep your breathing calm and your heart rate normalized. So if you have water next to you, take a sip of water, sit down, breathe. What I do, I track the 90 seconds on my phone. So once the alarm goes off, I know it's ready to perform the next set. So right now we're about a minute left. I don't need water right now, but I'm going to get some when I need it. And so remember, when you're performing the push-up, you will just want to do it controlled. There's not a certain pace that you have to do it at, but as long as it benefits you and you feel yourself performing it properly, and that's all that matters to get the best results that you can. So we're about 30 seconds out. So just get yourself ready to perform this next set. And once that alarm goes off, you're ready, and you're ready to perform, and you're on the ground. And we're ready for set number 2. So remember, this is set number 2 of 3 of the push-ups. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember to lock your elbows at the top. 5, 6, 7. Squeeze those pectorals. 8, 9. Keep that core tight. 10. That is set number 2. Now we're going to rest another 90 seconds, and then we'll perform the last set of the push-ups, which is the first exercise of the power and strength portion of this exercise program. So I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. I hope the workout accommodates you properly, and given the circumstances, I hope it benefits you and you're able to do this wherever you're at, whether you're at home, you have free time at work. If you can't get to the gym, you can still do this at a gym. Just to remember, keep your breathing nice and controlled. In through your nose, out through your mouth. So all we have is one last set of the same 10 repetitions, 4 push-ups, and then we're going to move on to our next exercise. So with this portion of the workout, I'm doing an upper body, lower body breakdown. So first exercise would be upper body, second exercise would be lower body, and we're just going to keep that rotation going throughout this phase of the workout to get that full body pump where all of your muscles are working properly. And we're ready to finish the last set of 3 of these push-ups. So get in your proper position, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We pop up. That's the first exercise of the power and strength movements. So for the next exercise that we're going to perform is going to be an air squat. So just like the box squats that we did in the warm-ups, it's the same motion, but this time it's just your own body weight without the stoppage of the chair. But if you feel like for form purposes that you would like to use the chair, you can. But for this one, air squats, you're going to be feet shoulder width apart, maybe slightly wider, and we're just going to perform a basic squat. Drop your hips and glutes, everything chest up, and then we drive our hips forward when we come up. We're going to perform 3 sets of 10 of those. So here is set number 1 of 10 repetitions. So here we go. Keep your feet flat, shoulder width, and we drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So remember, when you're doing squats, it's important that when you come up, you don't have to lock your knees out, because you want all of the force and power coming from your glutes, hamstrings, and your quads, which are the main components of the squat. And you want those muscles contracted throughout the motion of the movement. So now we're going to take a rest period before we start set number 2. And again, it's still 90 seconds of rest. Catch your breath. And remember, guys, when we're doing these exercises, it's not just for physical wellness, it's for mental wellness as well. If you're able to get outside and do these exercises, it's great. You get fresh air. Right now, it's not sunny, but if you do them during the day, which it is hot, but if you want to be in the sun, get a tan and breathe in fresh air and just escape from the reality of things, exercise is a great way to do so. And so we're ready, we're resting, we're getting ready for set number 2 of these air squats. Most of everything we're going to do is going to be body weight because of, I guess, the lack of materials that we have around the house or wherever we may be, whether it be apartment or if you do this at work when you have time. You find anything that you could use, but remember, your body is made for exercise. It's made to move and it's made to perform no matter what stage of life you're in. And it's great to keep yourself moving, especially as we get older. So here we go, we're going to start set number 2 of 3 of these air squats. Get your body situated, your feet flat, shoulder width apart, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's set number 2 of 3 sets. We have one more set. We're gonna go 90 seconds rest again. I hope that everyone who is doing this, you feel good, you feel strong, you feel your blood flowing through your body, you feel healthy. Take those deep breaths, let your mind go, focus on your workouts. And really, at this time, through all these exercise phases that we're doing, don't think about anything else. Just have fun. Do these exercises. Do them at your own pace. If you need more rest, you could take it. If you think you need less rest, then you could take less rest as well. This is, yes, it's supposed to be meant to be a full body workout. It can be modified given times, but you do anything or any portion of this workout is going to get you, it's gonna help you maintain your physical well-being. So we're about 30 seconds out from performing the last set And remember to keep moving during rest. Just keep your body flowing and keep your body moving so you're not getting stagnant, and it helps you from getting lazy between rests. And so we have one last set of squats before we move on to the next movement. Here we go, last set of 3, 10 reps. And we begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is our last set of air squats. We're going to move on to our next exercise, where we're going to take a rest, take a drink of water, and remember to breathe. Okay. Good. Alright, so for our next movement is another upper body movement, and we're going to do air lateral raises. So we're doing these without weights because we don't have any, but if you feel like you can do them with weights and you have something that you could hold in your hands that'd be comparable to the same amount of weight, then you could do so, but it just works the same as if you're lifting your hands in the air and contracting at the top and holding them. So we're working our deltoids, the lateral side of our deltoids, and we're going to do 3 sets of 20 reps each set. So remember, have a good base, feet underneath you about shoulder width. We're going to have our hands to our sides, and we're going to raise them all the way to shoulder height, and we're going to bring them back down, not all the way touching our thighs, but right underneath ourselves. We're going to perform this movement for 20 repetitions. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Remember to squeeze at the top. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Drop your hands down. That's set number 1. And we're focusing on our shoulders and just keeping ourselves upright and steady, and keep ourselves in a strong position throughout the whole movement. Now we're going to take our rest period, take a sip of water, and just breathe. And remember that we have 2 more sets of this. Remember, we're doing 90 seconds rest. If you need less, if you need more, you could take either or. Remember that when we're doing these movements, not to compromise our shoulders. So we're not going too high to where we're breaking the compression of our shoulders. We want a strong, steady hold at the top. Like if you're actually holding something in your hand and you're lifting it up. That's the movement that we want when we're doing this exercise. Okay, ready for set number 2. And remember, when we're standing upright like this, do not lock your knees because it restricts blood flow. And so you're not getting the blood flow throughout your whole body. So remember, have a slight bend at the knees, nothing crazy. And then here we go for set number 2. And begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're doing 20, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And that is set number 2. We have 1 more set. Remember, let's take our 90-second rest. I hope these exercises are doing it well, as well for you as they are for me. And I hope this video brings you value to your everyday routine. Maybe switch it up a little bit. Remember, you don't have to always do the same things every day. You could pick and choose whatever ties. Maybe some days you just want to do upper body. You could do upper body movements. Some days you want to do lower body. You could just do lower body movements. Your cardio, your core, everything you you want to install all of those movements, but you don't have to necessarily do them every day all together. But for us today, we're going to do all of those things. We're going to perform all of those movements. So we're in for a treat. So about 45 seconds left of this rest. We have one more set of these lateral raises, and then we're going to move down to another lower body movement. So 30 seconds rest. Gather your thoughts. Get mentally prepared for this last set. If you're tired, remember, you could always push through this. Your body could do anything that you think and will it to do. So about 15 seconds left. Let's get ready. We're standing up. Remember, knees not locked. Good posture. Chest up. Back straight. Hands to our sides. And here we go for our last set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That is our last set of lateral raises. Next movement, we're going to move to forward lunges, but for now we have our 90 seconds rest and get ourselves prepared for a lower body movement. For our next movement, we're going to perform a forward lunge, which we're going to stand and we're going to step forward, bend at the knee at your front leg, drop the back leg with a slight bend at the knee. You don't have to touch the ground. You could stay right above, hover over the ground. Make sure your knee doesn't go over your toe because you want that stability in your lower body. And you don't want yourself falling forward, you don't want yourself falling back. So remember, keep everything up and down, upright in a straight line. Chest high, knee right above toe. And then we're lunging. We're gonna step back and switch legs. So we're gonna alternate these lunges. It's gonna be 10 each leg. We're gonna do 3 sets. So here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so for lunges, we're utilizing our glutes, hamstrings, and quadriceps and hips. And we're focusing on those muscle groups as we lunge forward and as we push ourselves back up, and then we switch legs and it's working the same on the other leg. So remember, now we do our 90 seconds rest. And so when I emphasize breathing, oxygen is energy. So the more oxygen you get to your muscles, the more energy your muscles will have to perform these exercises. So if you restrict the oxygen that flows into your muscles will get more tired. Your body will get more tired. You'll get more tired. You get fatigued. And then you won't want to perform, and you won't be able to perform these exercises as best as you possibly could. So remember, you want to do these with the best effort. We're about a minute out for set number 2. Remember, we're doing 3 sets. This is 10 each leg. We're doing them alternating. If you would like, you could do 10 on one side and 10 on the other side, whichever you feel more comfortable doing or able to do. About 30 seconds. Remember, we're starting at an upright position. We're not starting in a split. We're starting in the same spot, both legs shoulder width apart, and then we're stepping forward into our lunge. And so here we go for set number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And we're back up, standing upright. Taking a breath. Now we have our last 90 seconds before we start the last set of these alternating lunges. And don't forget, hydrate yourself. Take a sip of your water. Here we go for our last set of lunges. For this, I'm gonna give it an alternate view so you can see my posture while I lunge forward and how I come back up and I alternate my legs. So here we go, set 3 of 3, 10 each leg, forward lunges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And that is our third set of 3 for these forward lunges. Now we're going to move on to our chair dips. So make sure you have a chair or a bench or anything you can hold yourself up and dip up and down. But for now, we're going to take a 90-second rest. So for our next exercise, we're going to do chair dips, which you can do with a chair, a couch, a bench, anywhere that gives you enough elevation to hold yourself up and get a tricep contraction and an elbow movement. So how we're gonna do it, we're gonna have our chair, have our hands right outside of our hips. We're gonna have our legs out, and if you need to, you could have your legs more into your body, tucked into your body to give you more support. But if you have enough strength, you can have your legs out, which gives you more pressure on your triceps and chest and shoulders, which are gonna be utilized in this movement. So we have our chair, have our legs out. We're gonna begin to dip. And 1, 2, 3. We're doing 3 sets of 10. 4, 5, 6. Lock your elbows at the top. 7, 8, 9, and 10. And you can just sit back. After that 10th rep, relax, take your 90 seconds rest, and wait until we perform our next set of dips. Time to perform set of 2 of 3 of these triceps chair dips. And here we go. 1, 2, 3. You want a 90-degree bend in your elbow. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, keep that core tight. 9, and 10. That's set 2. We have one more set of this before we move to our last power and strength movement, and then we're gonna move into another course of training. Here we go, last set of tricep chair dips. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So our last exercise for power and strength movements, we're going to end off with a step up. Here I have a step stool. You want something maybe a couple inches higher, but whatever works. So what we're going to do is we're going to alternate legs, but as we step up, and we're going to drive up and we're gonna tuck the other leg and bend at the hip. Then we're gonna step down, and we're gonna switch legs and do the same thing. And we're gonna do that 3 sets, 10 reps each leg. Again, you can alternate, you could choose to alternate, or you could do 10 straight with one leg and 10 straight with the other leg, whichever makes you feel more comfortable in doing. So here we go, step ups, first set of 3. And remember to drive that knee up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we switch legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's our first set. And remember, when you're stepping up, you want your foot flat. Don't be on your toes. Keep your weight on your heel or the middle of your foot. And we're driving through, and we're bringing our leg and our hip upward as on our top face. And remember, we're working mainly quads on the step up, we're working hips on the lift, and we're working glutes for our stability. So we have 2 more sets of this. All right, here you go, set two of the step ups. Remember, drive your leg, 2, and we're stepping down, and we're stepping up, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're switching legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we rest. We have 1 more set of this, and that will conclude the power and strength portion of these exercise movements. Remember, 90 seconds, take a breath, drink some water, and get ready for our last set of alternating step-ups. And here we go for our last set of step-ups. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. And now we're moving on to the core part of this workout. So we have 3 exercises, and they're going to consist of a plank, which we're going to do 3 sets of for 20 seconds each set. And then we're going to do a Russian twist with 3 sets with 20 reps. And that'll be 10 touches each side. And then we're going to finish off with knee tucks with 3 sets of 12 reps. So to begin with planks, you could do it on any flat surface on the floor. It would be good to have a mat or a carpet, just so like you're not uncomfortable. But you could really do it on any flat surface of the floor. Or you could even grab a towel to support under your elbows while you hold yourself up. So for a plank, we're gonna have our elbows underneath us. We're gonna have our body straight out on our toes. And we're gonna hold ourselves up using our core and our abdominal region of your body. And so how you want to hold it is, you want your back flat. You want your back and your butt flat, so your butt's not too high or it's not underneath you. So you want everything engaged, tight, and strong. And we're gonna do this for 20 seconds, and this is gonna be the first set. So I'm using my phone for a timer. You could, if you have a stopwatch, you can use a stopwatch. Whatever works. So here we got 20 seconds on the clock. And as soon as you're in the plank, proper plank position, we're gonna press start. So here we go. And boom. The countdown begins. Remember to keep your core tight, tucked in, your whole body engaged. And we have 3, 2, 1, and we're done. That's our first 20 seconds. Now, with this, because it's not as demanding on your body as all the other exercises that we're performing, we could do a little less rest. So instead of 90 seconds, we're gonna move down to 60 seconds, which is just a minute. So you're still getting the substantial amount of rest for the proper rest that's being done to accommodate the work that we're putting against. It's only 20 seconds of work. The rest doesn't need to be that long. So a minute should do fine. You're not breathing too hard. While you're holding the plank, you just keep calm, smooth breaths. And so you're not wasting a whole lot of energy, but you have the core engaged the whole time. So you're working those abdominal muscles, those obliques, and the whole core part that wraps around the trunk of your body. So now we have about 20 seconds of rest left. So we're gonna get ourselves ready to get back on the floor and start the next 20 seconds for the second round of planks. And here we go. In about 5 seconds, get your elbows under you, on your toes, back straight, get your timer ready. We have 20 seconds on the clock. And we're ready to start. 5 more seconds. And done. Now we begin our last 60 seconds of rest before we do our last set of planks, and we move on to our next core exercise. So core is important because it's what keeps everything engaged in your body. When you're doing any exercise, you always want to have your core engaged and tight, and it helps the stability of your body in any motion that you go through, and it helps to prevent injuries. The stronger your core, the stronger support you have on bigger multi-joint exercises. Let's say if we were in a weight room and we're doing a squat, you want to keep your core engaged and tight, and the stronger it is, the more support you have on pushing yourself up out of the hole of the squat. Same thing with a bench press or even anything overhead. You want your core to always be tight and engaged. And it's always engaged. I mean, you want it tucked in, you don't want it pushing out, because you want everything in a tight, fluid motion where it's all moving in one direction, and you don't want it out, because then that means it's not bracing. You're not supporting yourself with it. So with that being said, here's our last 20 seconds of these planks. Got your timer ready, your towel or whatever surface you're on, and here we go, 20 seconds. Now we're gonna rest for a minute before we move on to Russian twists. So what a Russian twist is we're gonna be on our butt on the ground. We're gonna have our legs up, and we're gonna have like almost in a V shape. So your legs and your torso are going to be off the ground. So everything that's holding yourself up is your core. And so what we're going to do, it's a rotating core exercise. So we're held in our position, and we're going to rotate from side to side, which, remember, in our warm-up we had the trunk rotations, and this is going to help with that. So it's been about a minute of rest, so here we go. We're going to start our first set of Russian twists. We're going to do 20, so we're going to do 10 each side. And the key is to turn and touch your hand. Your hands want to be together, and when you're turning and rotating, you want them to hit your hip on each side. So you get that full rotation of the obliques, which is the targeted muscle in this workout. So here we go, first set of 20. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's 20, that's our first set. And if you don't think your core is strong enough yet, or you have a hard time keeping your legs up while doing the exercise, you could have them touch the ground, but you don't want them rested, but you could have them, I guess, almost hovering or barely touching the ground while you rotate, because the rotation is the key to this exercise, but you want your core intact and braced throughout the whole exercise. So the whole abdominal wall is working while it's rotating. So we're going to take 60 seconds rest, and we're going to continue to do set number 2 of these Russian twists. Remember, just relax. Core is fatiguing, but doesn't last very long. So that's why you don't need as much rest, but just enough to get it nice and relaxed until you're back and you're engaging it again. So in about 20 seconds, let's get ourselves situated. Get yourself on a nice flat surface. Let's get our core engaged. And we have round 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right. One more set of these and we'll move on to our last exercise of this core portion of this plan. So we have our 60 seconds rest. And just so we know we're not going to have to be moving around much after this last set of Russian twists, we're going to stay clearly on the ground, on our butts, and we're going to perform a knee tuck, and I'll explain that further after we do our last set of Russian twists. And that would conclude the core portion of our exercise. So here we go, round 3 of 3 for these Russian twists. We're up, we're elevated, our core's engaged, and we're rotating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And that is our last Russian twist. If you want, you could stretch out your core if you're feeling tight. You get flat on your stomach. Arms underneath your shoulders, or hands underneath your shoulders, and you just push yourself up. Reaching, pointing your head to the sky, and stretching out all the abdomen, getting us ready to perform our next exercise. Whew. And again, we're going to be on our butts. So let's get situated in about 10 seconds. And we're going to perform a knee tuck. So what a knee tuck is we're going to be legs out in front of us. We could have them bent. And we're going to have them up, elevated off the ground. We could do it hands on ground if we need to, but if you feel like you're able to, you could have yourself up and you're tucking your knees to your chest. And so out, up, out, up. That's what a knee tuck is. But for this sake, I'm going to perform it with my hands on the ground. So it's a slight support. And here we go for round 1 of 3 sets of 12. So our legs are out and we're tucking them in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, my mistake, 12. All right, that was round 1 of 3. And remember, with your hands on the ground, you're not necessarily helping yourself, pushing yourself forward. All it is just a base for you, just in case you just feel off balance, or you're fatiguing, or you feel like you can't hold yourself long enough to finish all of the reps. So you can even break them up. Well, you could start with your hands off, tucking in, and then finish off with your hands on the floor, or you could just have your hands on the floor the whole time. So for these next ones, I'll perform it with my hands off the floor. So in about 20 seconds, we'll start the second round of these knee tucks. It's a great lower abdominal and hip movement, part of your core. Lower abs are always the hardest, at least for me, to get. And here we go. So my hands are going to be off the ground this time. I'm going to form another 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And during your rest, remember you could stretch if you're feeling tight. Well, I'm sure you feel tight, your core's tight, and you could just stretch. Your hips could be tight also because your hips are involved in this lower ab movement. You could just reach for the sky, driving your hips forward, keeping your core sucked in, but it's extending, and you're just releasing. Getting yourself ready for this last round and final exercise of the core portion of this workout. So here we go for round 3 of 3. And we're up and we're tucking. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That concludes the core portion of this workout. And now we're going to move on to our next segment, which is balance and stability. So, being as you get older, you tend to lose balance, or you get a little unstable. Maybe you don't walk the same way, or you don't carry yourself the same way, or some muscle groups aren't as strong as they used to be, which hold your body stable in order to do certain kinds of movements, which is like obviously your core, but you need your ankles stability, you need shoulder stability, you need knee stability, you need hip stability. These are all major groups in keeping stable in not only just exercise, but in just everyday living, whether you're walking up steps, or you're on a ladder, or you're carrying things in the house, moving furniture. These are all very, very important components of everyday living. So for our balance and stability exercises, we're going to be doing single leg RDLs. We're going to do skaters, and we're going to do a pistol squat. So these are all targeting lower body stability. I'm going to be using a chair for some of these movements, but a lot of them is just your body in an open area, giving yourself space. So our first exercise will be single leg RDLs. It's going to be 3 sets of 10 each leg. So we're going to start off. On whatever leg you want, left or right. I start on my left. We're going to have our other leg off the ground, so we're standing on one leg only, and we're going to reach down to the floor. We're going to come back up. Now you don't have to touch the floor, but you just want to get your arms or your hands underneath your knees, kind of reaching for your calf or ankle, and just making this targeting hamstrings, knee stability, and ankle stability. So you want your feet flat on the floor, comfortable. You can, if you need to, you could use a chair or anything to keep yourself stable. You could have your hand on it, just so in case you think you're gonna fall over while you're doing this exercise, you can have it as almost like a handicap. So I'll show you the first round we'll do with the chair. So we're doing single leg RDLs, first set of 10 each leg. So our legs up, we can have a hand on a chair or a surface, and we're going down. Touching our ankle, we're coming back up. And that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you need to, you can put your other leg on the floor, catch yourself, and then we're back at it. 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we can switch legs. Right leg is on the floor, left leg is up, and we're reaching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, time to rest. We're gonna move back to 90 seconds because we're using more muscle groups, and we're switching sides, so it gets a little tiring. So we're gonna go back to 90 seconds rest. And let's start the timer. Or you can stop it. And now round 2 of the single leg RDLs. So have your leg nice and stable, the leg that you're gonna hold yourself up with. The other leg down. We're reaching. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we're switching legs. Up, reaching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we rest. Okay, last set of single leg RDLs. And a quick point is whenever you want to try to balance, since we are on one leg, always pick a spot and stare at it and focus on that one thing. So that way it helps keep your balance because you're focused on one thing, so your eyes aren't moving everywhere, so your brain's not scattered. So with that being said, let's start our last set of 10, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're switching legs. Keep that point. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, single leg RDLs. For now, we're going to be moving into skaters. So what skaters are, it's like if you've ever been ice skating or roller skating or anything with something on both of your feet, even skiing, that you're going from leg to leg. So you're always putting pressure on a single leg on every movement. So what skating is, you're going to start on one side, you're going to have your other leg off the ground, and you're going to bound to the other side. Catch yourself, bound to the other side, and we're going to do that for 3 sets, 10 reps each side, going back and forth. So we have ourselves positioned, we pick a leg, we start here, we lift, and we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And remember, you don't have to do it fast or do it explosive. All you're doing is going from one leg to the other leg, getting from one stable position to another stable position without losing that stability. And what I'm doing is I'm staying low in a crouched position, keeping everything bottled up, engaged. So I'm not moving around everywhere. You want to keep your body stable, even your upper body. Keep a slight bend at the hips. And your knee's always going to be bent. When you catch yourself, your knee is bent, and be light on your feet. You don't want to be stomping around. You just catch yourself, soft and soft. But for now, we're resting. We're going to go round 2 into these skaters. Remember, it's 3 sets of 10 each leg, 90 seconds rest, and we shall begin momentarily. Here's stop it. Alright, ready for round 2 of these skaters. And another point, when you are bounding each side, like with any momentum going forward, whether it be running or skating, you go opposite leg, opposite hand, and it keeps that stability. It's just our natural form of moving, keeps our momentum. So if I'm starting on my right leg, my left hand is up, and then when I'm switching, switch left to right, left to right. So we're gonna go and start round 2, and here we go, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And that is round 2. We have one more set of 10. Alright, so here we go. Last set of skaters. Got our one leg, and we're off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And we're done. And now we have one more exercise for stability. And it's going to be a pistol squat, or in essence, a single leg squat. And for this, we're going to use a chair. And what we're going to be doing is pick a leg. We're going to have our other leg off the ground. We're going to fall into a squat, onto a chair, and we're lifting ourselves up. So if you have a little bit of a higher chair, it doesn't have to be a 90-degree squat, because this is more stability and not power and strength-based exercise. So we'll rest, and then we're going to hop into our single leg pistol squats. So now we're going to perform our pistol squat, which is our last exercise for our agility and stability. So again, it is one leg on ground, one leg off, and you're going to descend onto the chair. Once you touch this chair, you're coming back up. You can use your arms to propel yourself up and help keep your balance. And also this is stability for your ankle and knees. And we're going to be switching legs, so it's 3 sets of 10 each leg, 1 leg at a time. And here we go. Always keep your leg underneath you. We're descending and we're coming up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're switching legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And that is pistol squats. And we have 2 more sets of this. We have 90 seconds rest coming up. Now for set 2 of these pistol squats. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're switching legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Our last set of pistol squats. Keeping ourselves stable and able. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switching legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That ends our stability portion of these exercises. Now we're going to move into cardio and get our sweat on. So for cardio, we're going to have 3 exercises for time. So we're going to do 3 sets of jumping jacks for 30 seconds each. We're going to do a set of high knees for 30 seconds each for 3 sets. And we're going to do a set of butt kicks for 30 seconds each for 3 sets. That'll get our heart rate high. It'll get our body warm, and it'll make us sweat and burn those calories. And also adding movement into our exercise. Okay, we're going to start our cardio session, and we're starting with butt kicks. Okay. Here we go with our butt kicks. We're going to go 30 seconds straight, and then rest. So, ready? Remember to have your knees high, and we could do alternating arms with knees, or we could do hands on knees, whichever makes you more stable or is easier for you, and whichever one you want to work up to. So for me, for my high knees, I'm just going to go like I'm running in place, and we're going to go 30 seconds straight. And let's start our clocks, and we're going. And your knees are high, so you're using your hips. You're using your lower abdominal. You're pressing off the ground. And that's time. Okay, we have just finished our sets of high knees, 3 sets of 30 seconds. Now we're gonna go into butt kicks, and it's gonna be the same format, 3 sets for 30 seconds straight of just work. Now with butt kicks, it's the same, almost the same. You have your arms in a running motion, but instead of your knees coming up, your heels are coming back and they're gonna touch your butt. And so for you to see that, let me turn around and show you what a proper butt kick would be before we begin. So this would be a butt kick. So where our leg's not coming forward, it's coming back. We're using our hamstrings to pull our heels up to our butt on both legs. And it's just running, but instead of going forward, we're running backwards. So let's begin. We're putting 30 seconds on our timers. And now, clocks are ready, and we begin. Remember to keep your arms pumping. Okay, so we've just finished our sets of butt kicks. We did 3 sets for 30 seconds each time, and now we're gonna rotate into jumping jacks. So jumping jacks is as old as time, but it's a great exercise. Keeps your heart rate high. You're using full body, and it gets everything moving. So here we go, proper jumping jack, hands to the sides, feet together, and then we're spreading apart simultaneously, and we're coming back together. Spreading apart and coming together. So we're gonna do that for 30 seconds straight, 3 sets. Got our timers ready, and we're starting. And that's time. Okay, now we're moving on to speed and agility. Keep ourselves athletic. And so our 2 exercises are gonna be a shuffle and a sprint, but both have to be modified given the space and circumstance. So for our shuffle, we're going to shuffle our feet. End of an area, we're shuffling our feet back. End of an area, but we're gonna go for time since we don't have space. So we're gonna go for 20 seconds, and that's gonna be 3 sets. And for sprints, because we don't have space, we're gonna do almost like suicides in basketball. So we're gonna run, stop, run back, stop, run, and we're going for time. Again, more than area or space, and we're gonna do 3 sets of those as well. But first off, we're starting off with shuffle. We're getting our timers ready, 20 seconds on the clock. And we begin. Remember, keep your body controlled. Feet off the ground, not sliding. We're stopping with our foot, not our ankles. And that's time. So we just completed 3 sets of our shuffle, and now we're moving on to our sprints. Transformed into basketball suicide form without a court. We're gonna go from wall to other wall. We're gonna go for 20 seconds, and we're gonna perform 3 sets of that. So we have our clocks ready, and we start. That's time. Okay, so we just finished our sprints. 3 sets of 20 seconds back and forth. And now we want to cool ourselves down. So in order to catch your breath, you could always take a walk and just go for a couple minutes to catch your breath. But instead, we're gonna go into a hanging bend stretch. And it just focuses on expanding your rib cage, deep breathing, and just relaxing your body, helping yourself catch your breath and bring yourself back to a normal state. So what we do is have our hands to our sides. We deep breathe in deep, raising our hands to the sky, filling your rib cage and filling your lungs with air, feeling your rib cage expand. And you blow out and you fall forward, letting yourself hang. At the bottom, you take another deep breath. Let it out. Deep breathe again and come back up. And repeat a couple times. Just go. Until you feel yourself relaxed, your breath is normal, your heart rate is going down, and then we just go into our stagnant stretching, or static stretching, so we use a lot of upper body muscles and lower body muscles. So we're just going to simply cross arm across our chest. We're going to hold it there and kind of press it against our body, and we're going for 30 seconds. And then when we hold, and then we switch. And we're going 30 seconds here. Stretching out our lats, our shoulders, and our chest. And then after that, we're bringing our one arm over our head. We're bending at the elbow. Hand is touching our scapula. With opposite hand holding our elbow, and we're pushing back. We're holding, and we're stretching out our shoulder and our triceps. And we're holding for 30 seconds. Remember, breathe deep, slow, 30 seconds, and then we're switching, same movement, opposite hands. 30 seconds, deep breathing, relaxing. We're going to our lower body stretch. Simply just fall forward, touch our toes, feel our hamstrings and our calves lengthen. We're holding, we're breathing, we're going for 30 seconds. We're moving to our quads. You could hold yourself up with anything. Simply place your hand on an object. We're lifting our quad back. We're holding our ankle with our hand, and we're pulling back. And we're feeling all of our quad just stretch out and lengthen. We're going for 30 seconds. We're holding, and then we're switching legs. We're pulling back. Stretching our quads, and we're done. We're cooled down. Time to relax, take a shower. We finished about an hour-long workout, full body, cardio, core, agility, stability, and strength all put together. And that completes our workout. Thank you guys for having me, and I hope you enjoy and use this whenever you feel like you need to. Thank you. Just 10 more seconds. That's time.